Zack Snyder's Justice League is coming out on March. We don't know the exact date yet. Godzilla v Kong is coming March 26th, but we've yet to hear an official announcement for Zack Snyder's Justice League, but that's coming in the next few days, or week anyway, with a trailer, poster, and then hopefully a release date, so we know exactly when the movie is coming. But back in 2017, we knew that Zack Snyder had left the project over a family tragedy. Joss Whedon, John Berg, Geoff Johns took over the film, rewrote it, reshot it, and then that's the film that we got November 17th, 2017. Now, many of us had theories that Zack Snyder may have been fired by Warner Brothers, but to be honest, not many people get fired from projects. You know, you would see things like conflict with contracts, or differences with scheduling, or creative differences, stuff like that, you know. So nobody is ever really outright fired. They just walk away from their contract. But Zack Snyder walked away from Justice League in 2017. You know, the principal photography, the main shooting of the film was done October 2016, because I remember Jason Momoa put up a picture of him and Ben Affleck having a rap party, two of them drinking some beer, having a good time. But then of course, you know, with all big movies, kind of reshoots are planned, so you get to do the big action scenes better. They look at stuff, you know, stuff like that. The Martian Manhunter scene with Harry Lennox is a prime example of that, because Zack would have went back and he would have shot that scene. And look, the thing is, with the 2017 version, if Zack did get to finish it, it probably wouldn't be anything like the movie that we're getting this year, because the aspect ratio will be different, some of the tone will be different. Look, I think there's strong hints that Zack shot Geoff Johns' dialogue while also shooting Chris Terrio dialogue, and probably the Geoff Johns dialogue would have ended up in the theatrical version, while the Chris Terrio dialogue probably would have been on the Blu-ray, the extended cut, because they cut 30 minutes out of Batman v Superman anyways. That's probably what Zack was aiming for, so it would have been a completely different film. The 2:14 version that Zack always talked about might have not even been 2:14 in 2017. It might have been cut down even more. Could have been a lot of jokes, because you go back and look at those earlier trailers, there's a lot of jokes in them. And it doesn't really match up to what Zack was doing in Man of Steel or Batman v Superman. And I think there's huge moments in both of those movies that has humour, but it's not in your face. It means something in the actual scene, like, I'm a friend of your son's. Oh, I figured, the cape, you know, stuff like that. That's pretty funny. But it kind of seemed to change by the trailers, with Flash, with Aquaman, those kind of characters coming into it, which is fine. But it's not exactly the way Chris Terrio and Zack would have did things. But then Zack walked away, of course, family tragedy, all that stuff happened. Terrible, more important than any film or anything. He walked away to be with his family. But the executives, Warner Brothers, lied to us and said the film is still going to be very much a Zack Snyder film. Joss Whedon is coming in to finish what Zack created. And of course that was a big lie. Trailer started the change and stuff. We heard kind of rumours that we didn't want to believe that this film was going to be completely different than the movie that Zack had planned. And then we went to go see the film, and that was proven right. And none of us really, you might have initially liked the movie, but after a while you realised that this wasn't Zack's movie. And if you were like me, you went back and watched the old trailers, you would have seen a lot of footage that didn't make it into the movie, a lot of behind the scenes shots that didn't make it into the movie. And then Zack, slowly on Vero at the time, was slowly telling us that, yeah, this movie is not my movie. But then the fans got together over the last 2.5 years. We all know what happened there. AFSP, charity events were run, campaigns for hashtags were run, and it was a success. And we were too loud on the 17th November 2020, this stage, or 2019. Time is irrelevant right now when you're in lockdown the whole time, guys. But yeah, we made big noise. And then the story that we were told was Toby Emmerich called Zack Snyder, would you be willing to finish your project? Zack said yeah. He went to Warner Brothers, or AT&T I should say, with a cliffhanger series kind of angle, which was supposed to be a series, but now it's a movie. But the 2:14 cut is not the movie we're getting this year. This movie is 4 hours long. There's a black and white version that will be available. It'll probably be in selected theaters, some Blu-ray sales as well, but also the aspect ratio is different. More scenes, a lot of F-bombs, stuff like that. It's going to be an R-rated Justice League. So it all worked out in the end. I think Zack would probably say the same thing. This film is definitely his version of the film, so that's good. But there was always kind of controversy about how Zack left. Now, was he fired? As I said, that not many people actually get fired. But maybe he just walked away from his contract. He walked away from Warner Brothers. And at the time, he was going through an unbelievable, terrible thing that I can't even imagine. I'm sure some of you can't even imagine. I hope we never get to imagine those kind of things. But Zack had to, and he left the project. And we were lied to, and we were falsely marketed and stuff like that. Zack went away. He didn't want to be near the film. But Sean O'Connell, the author for the hashtag Release the Snyder Cut book, or it's just going to be called Release the Snyder Cut, but based on the hashtag, it's coming out March 1st, which is detailing the kind of fan initiative, which is the Snyder Cut movement and what happened, the events that were run, what led to this happening, how the Justice League 17 film was different from Batman v Superman Man of Steel, interviews with Zack and maybe some of the cast as well, also a lot of the people in the fan community who have been a part of it over the last few years. I'm in it as well in a small part. I don't know how big, I've only seen a small part, which I am in. Looking forward to reading it though. And yeah, that's coming out March 1st. But Sean O'Connell did an article today on Cinema Blend, which is the managing director, titled "The Real Story Behind Why Zack Snyder Left Justice League in 2017." And this is a direct quote from Zack Snyder himself that's in the book. But I want to go through the article here because it kind of clears up some things if you guys are confused. So this is what it says. Why is there a Snyder Cut of Justice League? Didn't that movie come out in 2017, showcasing Batman, Wonder Woman, and the members of DC Comics' core team? If you are a casual fan of the comic book movies, you might be wondering this exact thing as you hear buzz around a version of Justice League that's coming to HBO Max in March. Is it the same movie, just longer? What movies in the DC Extended Universe does it connect to, if any? Why did Zack Snyder leave Justice League in the first place, leading to the existence of a Snyder Cut of the movie? The story of the Release the Snyder Cut movement is unlike anything I've ever seen in my 20 years as a film journalist. It's rare that you see a filmmaker replaced on a blockbuster in the middle of post-production, particularly on as highly as anticipated film as Warner Bros. Justice League was, and continues to be. On March 1st, a book that I wrote called Release the Snyder Cut will drop in stores and online from Applause Books. The book explains in detail what happened to Zack Snyder behind the scenes on Justice League back in 2017, while also following the 3-year effort spent by Snyder's most dedicated fans to get Warner Bros. To finally release his original cut of the doomed Justice League movie. What you saw in theaters in 2017 was not the version intended to show. That cut is coming to HBO Max soon, and the book reveals how that happened. But now that we're getting closer to the release date of the book, Release the Snyder Cut, I wanted to share a few of the things that I learned while piecing this unprecedented story together. For one, I want to help the casual fans understand the importance of Justice League coming to HBO Max, but also I want to pull back this curtain that hangs over facts that the Release the Snyder Cut movement knows but might not fully understand. The reason that Zack Snyder gave for leaving Justice League had to do with a tragedy in the Snyder family. Zack's daughter Autumn died by suicide, and the director felt that he had to walk away from the production to be at home and with his family. No one could ever fault him for that decision. During an exclusive interview with Zack Snyder for the Release the Snyder Cut book that took place in June 2020, however, I asked the director if there was ever a scenario where the studio offered to delay the original film's November 17th, 2017 release date, giving Snyder proper time to give his family, but also having the ability to return to post-production and finish his work. In answering, Snyder dug deeper into the real reason that he left Justice League in 2017, clarifying, and this is a direct quote from Zack Snyder, which will be in the book, "I was just kind of done with it. I was in this place of knowing my family needs me more than this bullshit, and I just need to honour them and do the best I can to heal that world. I had no energy to fight the studio and fight for the movie. Literally zero energy for that. I really think that's the main thing. I think there's a different world where I stayed and kind of tried, and I'm sure I could have, because every movie is a fight, right? I was used to that, but I just did not have the energy. There was no fighting me. I had been beaten by what was going on in my life, and I just didn't want to. I didn't care to. That was kind of where I was." Now guys, if you want to go check out the rest of the article, it's on the Cinema Blend. I'll put the link in the description. But basically Zack saying here that before he went through scenarios where he had to fight for his movies. Look at Watchmen was probably a scenario where he had to fight for his movie. He made Dawn of the Dead. I'm sure there were situations there. He was a new director. He made 300, ended up being a huge hit, but I'm sure he had to fight for some things. Sucker Punch, Man of Steel. Probably didn't have to fight as much because Christopher Nolan was there. But then Christopher Nolan left, and Batman v Superman was created. 30 minutes were cut out. The marketing campaign was not really good for that movie, showing Doomsday. So he had to fight for a lot of things. Now, when it comes to Justice League, he knew that he had to fight again, but this time he was going through a personal tragedy that none of us can imagine, and he had to deal with it. Now, in a different scenario, in a different world, he would have stayed and fight for his movie. And those movies are Batman v Superman. Those movies are Sucker Punch, are Watchmen, where he would have stayed and fought for his art. But this scenario was a lot different. He had lost somebody, a family member. And while this shit was going on, while they were rewriting dialogue, they were making him put in more jokes, they were making him cut down the movie, they were making him take away certain characters or add certain characters. You know, while they were doing all this stuff, he was trying to deal with that tragedy, and that was happening before the tragedy, and I'm sure it was happening after the tragedy as well. You know, and I don't understand why Warner Bros. Didn't give him the time to say, look, this is terrible, we'll push the movie back to March 2020 or 2018 or something like that. You know, push it back a few months, you take your time, whenever you're ready to get the film done, we'll release it, no worries. But they didn't do that, and I did a video, a 30-minute video, talking about the disrespect that Warner Bros. Have shown towards their cast and towards their actors, towards their directors over the last few years, and they're still doing it to this day. Just look at Ray Fisher and what's going on there. But it's just huge disrespect. And even though it's different suits that were in charge back in 2017, and there's different suits here now, kind of, the same shit kind of goes on. You know, it's just a different face, same suit, same personality with these people. But at the end, there was rumours that they wanted their bonuses for that year for Justice League to come out. That's why they were pushing. And Joss Whedon only had, 3 months to reshoot the whole movie, rewrite the whole movie, visual effects weren't done and all that stuff. But Zack just didn't have the energy. He didn't have the fight in him anymore because of what happened, and that's understandable. This movie, all of this means not matters is your happiness and your family and stuff like that. But I was just kind of done with it. I was in this place of knowing my family needs me more than this bullshit. So the bullshit was the stuff he had to go through to fight for his movie, to fight for his art. Now, I'm not saying it was Jeff Johns constantly, but I'm sure Jeff Johns was like a guy for the studio, and he was kind of the errand boy to say, okay, the studio wants this, I wrote this is what we'll put into it. And I just need to honour them and do the best I can to heal that world, which is understandable. I had no energy to fight the studio and fight for the movie. Literally zero energy for that. I really think that's the main thing. I think there's a different world where I stayed and kind of tried. I'm sure I could have, because every movie is a fight, right? So every movie, you know, I'm sure there's millions of movies that were made where directors had to fight for certain things. They lost certain things, the studios wanted certain things, because at the end of the day, it's not the director's money that's going into this movie. But then you'd hire the directors to do this vision. Let them do their vision, let them do that. You know, if you don't like the first one, if you didn't like Batman v Superman, then just stop production on Justice League straight away and say, look, we don't want to go forward anymore. Don't let them make a movie and then change the movie on them. I just didn't have the energy. There was no fight in me. I had been beaten by what was going on in my life, and I just didn't want to. I didn't care to, and that was kind of where I was. So that shows us right there what happened. Zack was just sick of the bullshit, sick of the fight for his movie. He just walked away. He just walked away and said, I can't be dealing with this anymore. You guys are probably not helping me in any way whatsoever here. You guys expect me to still make this movie with no problems and listen to you and put in certain things. I just stepped away, and that's understandable. I think we can all admire that, but it shows. It shows how big of a fan base Zack has. It shows how much he is loved by his fans, that they're willing for the last 2.5 years to write to Warner Brothers, to put stuff in the sky, to put posters, banners, hashtags, raise money to show them that we want to see Zack Snyder's cut come to light. We want to see his movie. And they stayed by Zack Snyder's side. And Zack Snyder didn't post every single day. He didn't post every single week. You know, it was the fans who really drove this forward. And Zack is appreciated towards the fans because he did the Vero reveal of the announcement with Henry Cavill for the fans. The Hallelujah trailer was for the fans. A lot of these stuff that's going to come out next few months are going to be for the fans. He comes on streams with the fans, not with Collider, not with Cinema Blend, all these kind of stuff. He comes on with the fans. So it shows his appreciation and the respect. And I think Zack's a good guy. You know, I've got the chance to talk to him. He's been very respectful. Anytime I've ever seen him, anytime anybody's ever talked about him, they said he's a respectful, nice guy. And I get that feeling from him a lot. But he doesn't get that respect from Warner Brothers. Maybe some outlets who write clickbait shit about him the whole time. But, you know, in 2021, his movie's coming. And he's got the chance to work on it the last few months, which is great. There's also a new edition of Batman v Superman coming as well, an IMAX edition, which he got to work on. You know, he got to put all the scenes back in, all the characters that were cut out of the Justice League 17 movie back into this movie. He got to even shoot more scenes with Jared Leto's Joker, Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke, Cyborg, Ben Affleck coming back as well. He got 70 million to finish the effects. So this is all great. This film that we see now is going to be nothing like the film we would have seen in 2017. And that's a bigger win. And it's good to Zack, because it's good that he stood up and fought against Warner Brothers and said, look, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not letting you dictate me anymore. I have enough shit going on without this shit. And he walked away. And things kind of worked themselves out as the years went on. And he got to go back and finish his movie. And it's going to release in March, and we get to enjoy it. And hopefully average audiences get interested and watch it. And hopefully more happens about it and with it. But if there is no more Snyderverse happening after this movie, if there's no Justice League 2 or 3, then I'm okay with that if Zack Snyder's not happy to be working with Warner Brothers in that reason. You know, if he goes to Netflix and they give him blank check after blank check to make his art, that's probably a better situation for Zack Snyder mentally than working for Warner Brothers and having his movie changed. You know, this movie was supposed to be a series, now it's a movie. You know, and now it coming out in March with Godzilla v Kong, we don't know exactly what's going on and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm sure it will all work out in the end and this movie will be a success. But I'm just saying, you know, he had to fight for his title for a while too, you know, Zack Snyder's Justice League. So he has still had to this day, fight for his movie. Even though they said they gave him 70 million and said, go make your movie. You know, it's kind of weird, but this kind of clears up this quote from Sean O'Connell, the author of the Snyder Cut book. And it gives us some good insight into what happened back then. That he just was sick of it all. But I'm glad that Zack was able to be with his family and help them get through a terrible time. And I'm sure he was able to help himself by just concentrating on his family, which is great. And everything worked out in the end. He got to go back and make his movie, and it's coming out in March, and I can't wait. And it's going to be a longer, better Zacker version of the Justice League 17 movie that we would have ever got, even if Zack stayed around. This movie would have been completely different, guys, which is 100% uncut Zack Snyder, 100% unfiltered Zack Snyder, where Batman drops an F-bomb, where Steppenwolf hacks people in half, where Wonder Woman cuts people's heads off. That's the world I want to live in, and I can't wait to see this movie in March. But guys, what do you think of this quote from Zack Snyder? Not too long to go. 2 months. We're at the end of January right now. 2 months to go to the Snyder Cut. It's going to be 2 months or less. And I'm excited, and I can't wait to talk about this movie with you guys online, social media, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. I'll talk about this movie everywhere. And Godzilla v Kong as well looks brilliant. I can't wait to watch those 2 movies on repeat. And hopefully 2 of them are a big success online with social media trends, and I'm sure they will be. The trailers for both of them, the anticipation for both of them seems to be top notch, even though the marketing campaign hasn't even started for the Snyder Cut yet. But I'm sure when it does get into full flow, there's no stopping this movie. And Warner Brothers, the guys who were against it, Warner Brothers are going to be like, fuck, we messed up again, and now we have to face the music. Very much like Joker, you know. So guys, let's see how it goes. Let's enjoy these next few months. Poster, trailer, release date coming soon. Maybe some more stuff too. Let's get excited. And yeah, let me know your thoughts, guys, below. Give a like, subscribe, comment, follow me on all the social medias. That stuff is in the description. If you want to go check out this article, I'll put the link in the description for that. Also, it's on Cinema Blend. Thanks to Sean O'Connell for releasing this before the book comes out on March 1st. But guys, have a good day, enjoy yourself, and yeah, do something that makes you happy. Watch the King Kong v Kong, or Godzilla v Kong trailer again, because that's it just puts a smile on my face. That kind of comic badass, 2 monsters fighting, great. And the Justice League trailer, I'm sure, won't be too far behind it. But guys, have fun, enjoy your day.